sloppily thrown in there. That's okay. No biggie. I like the green. Green looks good. I really like the green. No scratches. I like that. Polar scope's not threaded. The cover isn't threaded. That's fine. Oh, check it out. They gave me a green dovetail bar. That's pretty nice. Appreciate that. This is sort of just slapped in there. Real. All the cords and stuff. Oh, they gave me another converter. An RS-232 converter. I don't know. I was hoping it would be. So again, this stuff is just sort of slapped in there. The cigarette lighter, power. I think they stated that was going to come with it. I think that's what you use to hook it to an old school computer or something like that. I don't know. I don't know much about that. But yeah, that's a nice little addition there. I kind of like that. Gonna give me a power tank. No scratches. Looks good. Good shape. Let's go to the hand controller with a little holder. What's all this now? Another dovetail plate. Oh, this might be the, I don't know. The dovetail plate's already on it. Now you have to attach that. Alright, so yeah, the dovetail plate doesn't come attached. You have to throw that on there, I guess. Yeah. Huh. I'll check that out when I'm setting it up. More connections, the strap for the sink scan. And some tools. Be the weight. Now, I thought it said 2 weights. Yeah, I think that's what that is. I think I do get 2 7-pound weights. That's kind of heavy. I might have to do something. I don't think my free weight will fit it. Nice and shiny, no scratches. Yeah. So 2 7-pound weights. They feel like they weigh more than 7 pounds though. But that's what it says on the package, is they're 7 pounds. They feel a little heavy though. A little too heavy for my refractors. Damn, the thing came out of the bottom of the box. Yeah, that's it. Oh, that's all. I guess I'm hoping everything. Alright, we'll get to putting this thing together. So one thing I noticed right away is this damn thing didn't come with any instructions. Like there's no paper instructions at all. So you just gotta wing it and hopefully you know what you're doing. So if this is your first mount, good luck, right? This is my second mount, so I'm still to the point where I'm not quite sure if I'm hooking everything up correctly. We'll see. Yeah, the polar cover is not threaded. Oh, there's a little piece of fabric in here. Like, was there supposed to be some sort of but it sort of just hangs on there. Alright, we'll keep it off for now. That threads in pretty easily. There's not much wiggle room, it's either loose or tight. Alright, there's that. I wasn't like a fan of how everything was packaged. It was okay, I guess. It wasn't like it's bad. It just sort of slopped in there. Some of the stuff was just sort of, you know, lazily thrown in there. And this thing is just what? I don't like the legs, the points. Same thing with my Nexstar C mount. They got these little points where it digs into the ground, I suppose. I'll have to look into that a little further and see. Do they come off? I just don't like it. I wish it had more of a flat base on it. Not only does it mark the hell out of my floor, but it sort of sinks into the ground. So when you go out, you want to kind of dig it into the ground right away to, you know, get the stability that you want. If you just go out there and stick it in the ground right away and then start viewing or looking at stuff and don't really pay attention to, you know, these little points on the bottom here, the telescope will sink to one side or the other. There is a bubble level though right here, so that's nice. So that's not bad. That went together pretty fast. This dovetail plate. So you look. So I guess this is some sort of extra dovetail plate. I guess. Oh yeah. I think you can remove this and just stick a regular one on there and put the L bracket on to hold a camera and a telescope, and then just use the right ascension to sort of do some wide field photography with a with an L bracket. And this will be if you want to put a telescope on, you know, for maybe finding an object in the sky and then taking a picture of wide field photography with the L bracket. So this all comes apart right here. And when I do, because I do plan on getting an L bracket to go with it, I'll do a video on that, on how that's done. That's going to take a little time though. Spend all my free money on this. L bracket doesn't cost much. I think it's like 60, 70 bucks. I'm also getting the Wi-Fi adapter, the little Wi-Fi dongle or whatever it's called, to help me do away with the hand controller. So with no instructions and not much to go on here, it wasn't really hard to put this thing together if you have some sense of how they work. And I like this little knob on the bottom here is going to help me out a lot if my because it's threaded in there, and if my refractor is not going to match up with the weights that they provided. I have some smaller weights, but it's going to require an extension with a smaller rod. So that helps that this thing is on there. It might be too fat though. I think it's a little different and it might not work. I actually don't think it is, because that's a big screw right there, and my extension is much smaller, so that sucks. I think that's not going to work actually. Now that I'm looking at it, sitting here looking at it. Alright, so that's good. Let's tighten this down a little bit while we're building it. A little wiggle in there. Oh, this isn't completely tight here. So we're not doing polar alignment or anything right now. We'll just tighten this down. That's tight. That could be a little tighter. Alright, yeah, no wiggle. This moves rather freely. I like that. There's a little tension in it. It's a little sticky. What's going on here? It's a little sticky. It doesn't move freely. So that's free right there. I sort of don't like that. Now, one thing I do like about this over some of the other mounts won't perform a complete circle because the right ascension thing gets in the way of the mount. Or same thing with the declination here. It does a complete 360 here with nothing getting in the way, so you don't have to stop and do some sort of crazy maneuvering if you sort of hit a point. Okay, there are arrows on it, so let's line the arrows up. Where's the arrows go? There's one. So does it go to there? No, I doubt that. Where's the arrows go? No arrow on the right ascension here, so you'll have to make your own marks when you're sitting in home position. There's an arrow here, but that's for just declination. So again, you'll have to maybe use a level or something to sort of set up your polar home or your home parking position, because there is no arrows to match up. The other mount had the arrows on it, kind of like that ideal, but no worries, we can make our own marks on the mount. Alright, let's stick one of these refractors on here and see how well it balances. It's a little sticky. Those of you who have telescope mounts, it's a little sticky. I'd rather it move a little freer. Maybe because it's new, but it is a little sticky. Let's just lightly do that real quick and balance this out. As you can see, it's a little sticky. It's just, like I said, it anywhere. Is it going to move? Yeah, look. Oh, there it is. Okay, we get a little movement here. Maybe it just needs to be used a bit. Maybe it'll free it up. There's probably a lot of grease in there. You can always strip it down and remove some of that grease, and that'll free it up a little bit. Maybe completely clean them out and re-lubricate it yourself with some. You could buy some better, grease. They sell some stuff. You can look online. I've been reading a lot about that, where a lot of people do that when they buy their mounts. They'll strip strip it all down and re-grease it, which seems to help a lot. It helps balancing and helps the motor move and stuff like that. I hope that's not an issue that I'm experiencing with this mount being so sticky. So we'll stick one of these gigantic. I really need to buy some different. What I need is some twos, some 2-pound weights. But this thing seems a little big. I feel like it doesn't even fit. It fits, but we'll play in it. Gotta get used to where things are on this one. There we are, it's in the back. The clutch is in the back. It's a little back heavy. Yeah. I guess this will work though. I don't know if that's because the mount is a little sticky. Yeah, it's still a little bottom heavy here. I wish I had a lighter one. So it is a little bottom heavy there. Not much though. We got a little crash going right here. That's alright. I don't plan on imaging from this to this. You never know. So that is a little worrisome there. It is a little sticky. And I can't tell if I'm properly balanced because it is a little sticky. I'm going to assume that that's decent balance. What I do, I have it shoved all the way up on there. I suppose I can remove this little thing right there, push it up a little further. Another thing I wanted to check and see if my extension won't fit in there, so the threads are too small. So we'll have to make do with what we got here. What we're going to just do with that. So I'll have to find that. There we go. So let's lower this and see how sticky the mount is. We'll be able to test it. I don't like the way the mount, the weights fit. They fit weird. They don't quite fit. I guess it does down in there a little more snug, but up in here there's a little too much freedom. All right, so yeah. So I guess I'm somewhat balanced, but that's way down at the bottom there, so it's not going to tell me much. I'll move it up halfway, 2/3 maybe. All right, so yeah, so we still get some movement there. So yeah. All right, so we'll push it all the way back up to the top here. It's a little pain in the butt to move these things. That little knob right there is a hassle. So and when I stick my camera on there, it's going to weigh a little more. Still a little bottom heavy, but not too bad. I suppose once I put my camera on there, it's going to straighten it out a little bit, and I have a finder scope where I could stick my other telescope on top here, my little small 70mm refractor, which could maybe help balance it out a little more. I'm more concerned with the stickiness of the declination. That is real sticky. Like it doesn't move at all. And I can adjust it all the way to the back here, and we'll see if it does. So there, got a little bit of fall, but that's all the way to the end there. But as soon as you start to move it forward a little bit, it doesn't move at all. It's real sticky. If you bump it, it does. There you go. Move it all the way forward. You're not going to get anything that way. But I'm going to have a camera on the back here, so maybe that. I was concerned about the crashing into the telescope. Let's try this again. Yeah. So we do crash right there. So that's not bad. So we got that sort of range we got going there. From there to there. That's typical. The other mount I had from Explorer Scientific, it didn't even go that far because the declination motor and the right ascension motor was just so jumbled that or the right ascension motor was right here, so it could only go so far before it started hitting things. The actual motor started hitting things, not the telescope itself. So this is, I got a lot more range in this one. I do not like the fact that there aren't any arrows on here to help me. I guess 90 degrees. I can go 90 degrees here. That helps. But there's no arrow on the declination, so you'll have to sort of balance that out yourself. Alright, so that's building the mount. We're going to go through putting the sync scan together here. Alright, so this is the part I don't really know much about. Since putting together an equatorial mount is not rocket science. It's fairly straightforward and simple, but I do not know how to put these things together. This will be my very first time doing one of these, because the last time it's usually all prepackaged. Well, there's some instructions here, which just tells me how to put the hand controller bracket on. And that's going to be for this, I suppose, I would imagine. I don't see it. Is it? Or is it for the hand controller? Oh, it is for the hand controller, huh? Boy, I was wrong. So, where the hell does this thing go? Like I said, there's a bracket here. Oh, here we go. Oh, this just clamps on then. So this is fairly straightforward here. If you can see it, I'll hold it up. So this is fairly straightforward. I suppose it just snaps on in. And I'll figure out where the best place to stick it. And for now, we'll just stick it there. Kind of get you a better view of it. Oh, lighting is terrible. My focus is terrible too. Ooh. There we go. I had manual focus on. So busy taking pictures, I don't never use autofocus when I'm taking pictures. So that just snapped on fairly easy right there. And then the hand controller just comes with like a strap, where you just sort of wrap it around one of the legs. Any one of them, I guess. And from the videos that I've watched, you want to wrap it. Most people like to wrap it above the little plate. There's a little scratch there. I don't like that. That's no big deal, but that scratched pretty bad. That was clearly dropped or something. This was not packaged very well. The eyepiece holder was just sort of flung in there. Didn't really like that, but alright. As long as the telescope works, or the mount works, as long as the equatorial mount works, I don't worry about a little nick here or there. And so the hand controller sits there, which is not bad. And I also have some Velcro I bought. I keep Velcro for this particular reason. In case I wanted to. See, I don't know how the hell all this goes. Is there a specific one? So this is me, I'm winging it here, so they all look the same. I think one goes into the sync scan. Let's take this out. And if I'm saying that wrong, I'm sorry. Sync scan. I was calling it sync scan. So one goes in here some way or another. Apparently it goes like this right here. So that goes into there. And one goes into the declination RAN, right ascension N. And that goes like that. Oh, it'd be worse if I use this one. So RAN, well, this wasn't too bad. Declination out to the declination in. The only bad thing about these cheaper mounts is there's still so many wires. Now you can buy some more expensive mounts it's all internal, so you don't have to worry about these wires. So this is where it sort of gets in the way. When you're imaging at night, you have, well, we've still got pretty good range. Oh yeah, I still got pretty good range. You don't typically use declination a lot. You can get some cord wrap there, but you typically don't use that a lot. And they do have a declination setting circle here where I'm guessing 90 degrees would be as close as it's going to get. Well, since we have that off. Okay, so this is free range motion, so I don't have to move anything to see the polar finder. And I'll give you some close-up views of this mount here in a minute. Yeah, so this is all free from that, so you don't have to rotate the declination in order to use the polar scope. It is that's well designed. I like that. Let's have a look through there. Oh, out of focus. I mean, where do I get my focus from? I'm not a fan of that. So this is sort of out of focus. Maybe out in the sky where I have more, and I'm not looking at the freaking ceiling. Well, we'll see. Does it focus? Is there a focuser? Does it focus? Oh, it twists, that's for sure. Let's try that. No, it's not going to focus it. That just takes it off, huh? Let's see. I wind it out a little bit. See. Oh, there we go. Yeah, that's much better. So yeah, so I guess you can focus it a little by twisting that knob there. You got a Kent. And where the hell is the polarity supposed to be? I think you just eyeball it. Huh. So I'm not sure here how to read that. I'll have to go on their website. I'm sure they have a manual of how to read that, because I don't see anything that states it's Polaris. I saw something that said it's Arcanthus, but who knows? So there we go. That's put together. We're going to test out the movement. Alright, so we're going to test out the movement. I've got the telescope plugged in and all set up, and got it powered with my Celestron power tank here, with the cord that's provided with the mount, the little cigarette lighter cord. So we're going to test the movement of it right now. So begin alignment, yes. 1-star alignment. Enter. Let's see what star is pretty close to us. So pretty close to the north anyway. So we don't have to move very far. Okay. Arcturus is always a good one. There we go. Enter. That's pretty close. Now I'm not polar aligned at all. I actually moved it. Polaris is that way, and I got the front leg going that way. I was just testing the movement here. It says center it in the eyepiece, so we're going to exit the alignment. Yes. And just try moving this. It's not extremely loud, but I'd like to know how you change the speed though. So I don't know much about this. Oh, park scope. Home position. I haven't even set up a home position, so I don't know. Maybe this thing recognizes what home position is. So I'll have to figure out how to change the speed on the fly, because there's no obvious button to press, and if I just try to press 9 or 7 or 8, or it does something crazy. That's pretty close though. It's probably not exact. Oh wow, that is pretty close to 90 degrees and what is that? Declination? Or right ascension? I don't know what that is. I forget. So anyways, position saved. Turn off the power. No, we're gonna escape. Park cancel. Menu. Date, time, observation site, demonstrating alignment stars, backlash, tracking, auto guide speed, elevation limits, flipping mode. So I don't see any. So if I wanted to manually slew it, that's way too slow. It's got all kind of camera control. I don't know what half of any of this stuff means. I'll have to do some research on that. Maybe that's it. That button right there. Escape. Utility. Oh, wait a minute. Escape rate. Set speed. Ah, got it. There is. So it is a one button thing. So it's not that bad. Let's get closer here. Sorry about the light quality here. It might be a little too close. I really just want you guys to be able to hear it. Sounds good. It's not as loud as that Bresser that I had that I couldn't get to work. And I sent it back and figured, well, if you spend a little bit more money, you'll get a better scope. Or a better mount anyways. So there it is. There's the movement. Everything seems to work fine. I like it. I can't wait till the sun goes down. Alright. So I'm going to try something out here. I don't have a manual handy, so I'm doing this on the fly. Let's see. Oh wow, they didn't give me the right hex to do this. Let me see. Where's that bag at? Yeah, wow, that's odd. It's pretty odd that they didn't give me the right tools to do this with. No worries. We got some tools over here we can use. What should be the last one I pull, right? No, of course. There we go. And of course the tool that I got, oh, it worked good. There we go. So, I'm supposed to be able to remove this. Probably makes sense if I took this friggin' weight off of it. Alright, so take this off. Can't really get in there with that one. The declination clutch is in the way. How about that? There we go. So you remove these 4 bolts from what I gather here, and this comes off. And you can then throw this bad boy on there some kind of way. What's going on here? There it is. And I suppose you would stick these right back in there. No. So they do give you some other hex nuts in this bag right here, which looks like this lines up good with that. Down in there, and this is probably it fits the one they give you. Well, that's terrible. So you got to have one to remove it, but to put it on, they provide the one Allen wrench to put it on, but you got to supply the Allen wrench to take it off. Which, no worries. I mean, most men have a set of Allen wrenches around the house, and women. Some women, I guess. The handy ones. So this converts into a lightweight travel tripod, very lightweight, that just moves in right ascension, and of course fits a typical dovetail. And then I guess you would take the screws and stuff off of this. Backwards. And then you would stick your camera mount on there, or your camera, which seems to have gotten away from me. What the hell is it? And of course you attach your camera somewhere on there. Anywhere. They provide all this. You don't have to buy anything extra. And then what you have is a mount that moves in right ascension. And it's super lightweight. So it becomes a single axis drive now. For wide field photography. And of course the declination is canceled out here. So there it is. So now I got a lightweight little travel tripod with me that I can use, stick a camera on there and do some wide field photography, or throw a small refractor on there. You don't need 2 axes to do a whole lot of stuff anyways. If you're just pointing the scope in a particular region of the sky and then having it track rather than any go-to capabilities, you just polar align, stick your camera or your small refractor on there, and just start taking pictures. And you can set up the tracking inside the hand controller, so it'll track for you, and you won't have to worry about any go-to or anything like that. So. And it didn't take me very long, and I didn't need any instructions to do it either. It was just 4 screws. Alright.